Alright, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you tonight with a special event announcement. So Japanese all-women's mixed martial arts promotion Deep Jewels has set the date for their 31st numbered event. So Deep Jewels 31 is going to go down Saturday, December 19th at Shinjuku FACE in Tokyo, Japan. Now they currently have 6 bouts scheduled, although they could add another 1 or 2 as the time draws nearer. 4 of the bouts are scheduled for 2 5-minute rounds apiece, and the co-main and main event are scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds apiece. So let's get down into it. Let's start with the first bout. First up, a strawweight bout between Arami Kamino taking on Ayaka Watanabe. Now, from what I can tell, trying to look up records, it is the pro debut for both fighters, so I don't really have any stats on them. Arami Kamino fights out of the gym Mixed Martial Arts Burst, whereas Ayaka Watanabe fights out of Para Estra Kashiwa. Now, Para Estra is a network of gyms that dates all the way back to the 90s, and if memory serves me correctly, it was founded by Japanese MMA legend Yuki Nakai. If you don't know anything about him, go look him up. He is an absolute legend of the sport, even though his name isn't as known outside of Japan. Next up, an atomweight bout. Moeri Souda coming in 0-1, taking on Moe Sasaki coming in at 1-0. Let's see, Moeri Souda is 16 years old. She stands 5 feet 2 inches, 158 centimeters tall. Sasaki, I don't have an age available for, but she stands 4 feet 11 inches, 149 centimeters tall. Let's see, Souda's excuse me, trains, Souda trains out of Scorpion Gym, while Sasaki trains out of MMA Burst. Now, Souda is coming off of a loss in her pro debut to Aya Murakami in a super atomweight bout that was just over Halloween at Deep Jewels 30. Moe Sasaki is coming off a unanimous decision win over Sae Kokuo in her pro debut at Deep Jewels 28. Next up is a super atomweight 49 kilogram bout. Otowa Nagao coming in 3-3, taking on Mika Sakamoto coming in 0-2. Let's see. Nagao is 17 years old. She stands 5 feet 2 inches, 158 centimeters tall. Sakamoto is 32 years old, stands 5 feet 1 inch, 156 centimeters tall. Nagao trains out of Abe Ani Combat Club, AACC, and you're going to hear that name a few more times during this video, whereas Sakamoto trains out of Fightaholic. See, Nagao is coming off of a unanimous decision loss to Miku Nakamura back at Shudo 2020 Volume 6, I want to say back in August. Sakamoto, on the other hand, is coming off of a TKO loss to Nanaka Kawamura back at Deep Jewels 28. So it should be a nice little super atomweight bout there. Most likely it's going to be a bounce back fight for Otowa Nagao, given Sakamoto's current record. Next up, at flyweight, Mika Arai coming in at 5-3, taking on Mikiko Nirvana Shimizu coming in at 1-0. Arami is 26 years old. She stands 5 feet 3 inches, 160 centimeters tall. Shimizu is 27 years old, 1 year elder. She stands 5 feet 4 inches, 163 centimeters tall. I don't have a gym available for Arami. Shimizu, on the other hand, is another AACC product. Now, Arami is coming off of a unanimous decision loss to Seika Izawa back at Deep Jewels 30, just over Halloween. That was a huge upset. Whereas Shimizu is coming off of her successful pro debut with a TKO win over Yurina Horiguchi, also at Deep Jewels 30 on Halloween. So this is most likely should be a bounce back fight for Mika Arai, who by all accounts was actually supposed to win her last fight. It was meant to be a gimme fight. So we'll see if she can bounce back against Miko Nirvana Shimizu. So, bouncing off of the Arami bout, let's move into the co-main event, a strawweight bout. Miki Motono coming in at 5-1, taking on Seika Izawa coming in at 1-0. Motono is 26 years old. She stands 5 feet 3 inches, 159 centimeters tall. Slightly taller than Seika Izawa, who's 5 feet 2 inches, 157 centimeters tall. I don't have an age available for her. Motono trains out of AACC, whereas Izawa trains out of Takamoto Dojo. Motono is coming off of a TKO win over Asami Nakai at Deep Jewels 29, whereas Izawa, as just mentioned, is coming off a unanimous decision win in her pro debut over Mika Arai that we just previously mentioned. So here's the setup for this fight. Motono just won the interim Deep Jewels strawweight title. Izawa is only coming off of her pro debut, but she's given a chance to fight Motono in a non-title bout because Deep Jewels CEO Shigeru Seki was so impressed with her performance against the much more experienced Mika Arai that he said, you know what, I'm going to give her a chance against Miki Motono. Now, this is a non-title bout, which I hate when champions fight non-title bouts. However, it was also stated that if Izawa wins, they will schedule an immediate rematch between these two, this time with the title on the line. So if Izawa can pull off 2 big upsets in a row, she automatically earns a title shot over the fighter that she will have just beaten. If Motono wins, then her next fight will likely be a defense of her title, whereas this one is a non-title bout. So a bit of a weird one there at strawweight in the co-main event. This was also the first of 2 3 5-minute round fights. Moving along into the second of the 3 5-minute round fights is going to be the main event at Atomweight. Saori Oshima coming in at 3-1, taking on Shiu Park coming in at 3-2. Oshima is 25 years old. She stands 4 feet 11 inches, 149 centimeters tall, compared to Park, who is a little older at 29 years old. She is the taller fighter, 5 feet 2 inches, 157 centimeters tall. Oshima is another AACC product. That gym trains a lot of female fighters. It is largely known for the female fighters that come out of there. Park, on the other hand, trains out of Team Mad in Busan, South Korea. So she is the lone non-Japanese fighter on this card. Now, Oshima is coming off of a submission win over Mizuki Oshiro at Deep 97 Impact, whereas Park hasn't fought in a year. She's coming off of a TKO win over Hikaru Ono at Deep 93 Impact. So let me set up this fight for you. Oshima debuted earlier this year in Shudo, fighting in the Super Atomweight 110-pound tournament. And I believe she went 2-1 there, or 1-1, and then picked up some more wins elsewhere. Most recently, she won the Deep, the parent company of Deep Jewels, Deep Microweight 97-pound title. So she went from fighting at 110 pounds down to 97. Now here she is in an Atomweight main event for Deep Jewels. So she is the Deep Microweight champion. Park, on the other hand, if there is one fighter that got really raked over the coals by COVID outside of the UFC, Park is definitely one of them. Or I shouldn't say one of them. If there's any fighters that got raked over the coals, Park is one of them. She was scheduled to fight at Deep Jewels 30 in the main event in an Atomweight bout, fighting for the Atomweight title against then-champion Tomo Maesawa. Well, that event basically got canceled. Deep Jewels 30 didn't happen until just over Halloween. Park has been forced to sit out all this time, never got her title shot. Tomo Maesawa defended her title, and retired on the same day. So Park is never going to get a shot at Maesawa for the title. So whoever wins this bout, though, could possibly fight for the title in the future. So here you have a number one, basically, possibly, somewhat of a number one contender fight over the tournament participant into microweight champ, now fighting in atomweight. Oshima taking on the former number one contender, now kind of stuck in limbo, Shiyu Park. Another thing that's interesting is, like I mentioned, Oshima is 3-1, but she debuted earlier this year. So she has already fought 4 times this year and is now fighting for a 5th time. So she has 4 fights to Park's 5, but whereas Park's fights all come over a span of like 3 years, Oshima's fights have all come within 2020. So a lot of people talk about other fights taking on a lot of fights in a short amount of time. Oshima is now up there with them. So that's a very interesting factoid there. And this should make for a good fight. Oshima has a strong judo game. Be interesting to see how she deals with Park's kickboxing style and anti-grappling. So that's it so far that has been announced for Deep Jewels 31. Like I said, this goes down December 19th at Shinjuku FACE in Tokyo. Now, the last couple Deep Jewels events have been on internet pay-per-view. Most likely this one will be as well. I bought the last one. It was like $15. To me, it was worth it just to be able to watch the fights live. And you got the playback for up to 9 days. So I watched some of the fights multiple times. So I'll do a full, a more in-depth preview on it as closer it comes to fight time. It's a month away, so yeah, we'll definitely relook at this event again closer to fight time. In the meantime, let me know your initial thoughts on this event in the comments down below. Now, if you liked the video, please give it a like, and while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.